How's it going, everyone? This is Rosalind, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Lich encounter. It's the latest trial for FFBE, and this is the party I ended up clearing the fight with. Now, before I get into this, just to let you know that all footage for this will be coming from my Twitch live stream, where I did this live on Twitch. So if you want to see the full unedited version with my webcam and everything, be sure to head over there and check out the highlight. But for now, we're going to get into my party. So this is the party I ended up going with, and I should say this is the very first trial I have ever used unit of choice tickets on to get a specific unit to help clear that trial, and that would be Aerith. This time she was the MVP. So, with that said, let's take a look at what we have. First of all, I have Wilhelm here, and as you can see, I have him set up with the Moogle plush and red nose to give him 100% draw attacks, and I also have him with Calamity Border. Everything else is just to give him as high as stats I can possibly get him, while also getting his fire, ice, and lightning resistances up high, since those are the main elements you have to worry about. I believe the boss may do dark, but that is only as a counterattack, so as long as you are not using light damage against the boss, you don't have to worry about that. Now I should say that this particular weapon here with this effect is fantastic. Not only do you get 50% ice resistance from it, it gives you 20% chance to dodge magic. Now, what's cool about this is this fight the boss uses instant death, he uses death, or he uses kill. Death can be prevented with safety bit and whatnot, however kill cannot. But both of those can be dodged, so it's just a nice little perk, and this did happen to me multiple times. Next up I have Bosh. Bosh is a magic tank. Now you may be wondering, why do I have a magic tank? If you've been following the fight or looking at how it's done, you will know that the boss uses 3 different elements, fire, ice, and lightning, that magic attacks that cannot be covered. However, the boss also uses a number of non-elemental magic attacks, so I have Bosh set up to cover that to help just reduce the overall damage done to my party. And again, this is how I have him set up. My main damage dealer is Maria, and I used Maria with a friend Maria to completely destroy the boss. I personally think she's the absolute best unit for this fight, but you can get away with using someone like Ellie or whatnot, but I do recommend using a magic user that uses magic abilities. And again, I have her, these 3 resistances up high, and the reason I recommend using a magic user with these that uses magic abilities instead is because the boss will put a debuff on your party that reduces your resistance to silence, and it will silence you. It's almost 100% guaranteed that it will silence your entire party. So being able to get around having to use magic is fantastic. She can also chain with fire damage, which is one of the boss's weaknesses, along with light. Next up I have Santa Rosalia, and this is how I have her set up. Standard limit break, also have her with Holy Wind, so she can deal light damage. This is to get the mission done. And then I have her elements like this, and since I did say that while the boss is weak to light, it will counter light with a attack that I believe is dark. It may not be, but I'm not sure. But it also uses stop and whatnot, but you don't have to worry about that if you don't attack with light damage. However, there are specific points in the fight that you can use light damage on, where you don't have to worry about being counterattacked, and I will go into that when we get into the actual fight. Now, the reason for bringing Santa Rosalia here is because once she uses Purify, or once Aerith cures Silence, then she can be used to dispel the boss while also keeping up re-raise. She is also an extra source of AoE re-raise, which I found to be very useful in the 3rd phase, because between her and Aerith, that gives me 6 turns of AoE re-raise. Next I have Aerith. This is the person the unit I used unit of choice tickets to get in order to help clear the fight. I already had one of her, so I got one extra to get her 7-star. This is how I have her set up, and the main reason she is so good is because the majority of her kit is all done with abilities, and it means she can be putting up re-raise and damage shield. She can use healing wind to cure status effects, all sorts of things that she can do that really help with the fight. She has, she has a AoE re-raise on her. just all that sort of stuff really helped with clearing the fight. So that is the party I went with, and like I said, my friend is another Maria to do fire chaining for the fight. And that said, let's get into it. Alright, so we're into the fight here, and as you can see, as a preemptive attack, the boss uses a silence on you. Lowers your silence resistance and then silences your whole party. So just be wary that that is going to be happening in the first turn. Now, the fight in general is very, there's a lot to prepare for, but the actual fight itself is relatively simple. First of all, you have to reduce the boss's HP to 0 3 times total. Every time you do this, the boss will revive with 100% HP. Each time you kill him, he'll revive with 100% HP, and the fight will get progressively harder. What basically changes is some of his abilities alter, and the number of attacks or actions per turn that Lich gets increase. The main thing to watch out for on what changes, though, is death changes to kill once he resurrects for the first time. And what that basically is death is a single target death. It can be prevented. However, once it changes to kill, it cannot be prevented. That being said, they can both be dodged with magic. So if you have magic dodge, it will dodge, and as you just saw a second there, it actually happened. I dodged death here with my Wilhelm. This is the main reason why I did not equip my Wilhelm with instant death protection, because for the majority of the fight, it's just not really worth it. Other things to watch out for is you want to make sure you keep having Calamity Border up on your entire party. This is what I do with Wilhelm every chance he gets. And then you also want to be breaking the boss's attack and magic, but the boss is immune to defense and spirit breaks, but you don't really need them. The main thing is to make sure that attack and magic breaks are up on the boss, otherwise the damage he outputs can be very, very high. Yeah, you may also want to make sure that you have some sort of protection against paralyze, because in addition to silence, the boss can paralyze you. However, unlike silence, the boss does not lower your resistance to paralyze, so as long as you're immune to it, you'll be just fine. Now, I did mention in the section where I was going over the party that you don't really want to be using light against the boss, even though he is weak to light. So what do you do about the missions? Well, on any turn where you kill the boss, like where you reduce its HP to 0, the boss will not counterattack you on the following turn. So on that turn, you are actually free to use light damage. It's at this time that I recommend that you use like Holy twice or something, like dual white magic or something like that. I forget to do that in my kill here, so I ended up doing it when I actually go for the final kill. I just make sure it's one of the last things I use so it hits, but it's much easier if you remember to do it in between when you're reducing the boss's HP to 0 and it's about to resurrect for one of its other phases. Some other things to watch out for is the boss absorbs earth and dark, so you don't want to be using either of those, and this plays into why I recommend using magic damage, especially magic ability damage, because of the silence. But as for the earth and dark immunities or absorptions that the boss has, the boss will imbue your party with one of those elements throughout the fight every now and then. So if you are using a physical team, you just want to make sure that before you attack, you have removed the imbue off of your character, or it has fallen off naturally. You'll also notice that the boss puts up buffs on itself that last, I believe it's 3 turns, and these can't be dispelled, but they are a magic and physical damage reduction buffs. They don't pose too much of an issue, but they are kind of an annoyance. But as you can see here, if you're using somebody like Maria, or if you're using like Ellie or something like that, even with those buffs up, you can deal a significant amount of damage. However, there is a buff you can dispel that gets placed on the boss every now and then, and that is a magic attack up boss buff. Now, when this gets placed on the boss, you want to make sure that you're able to dispel it that turn, and of course, you want to reapply debuffs when you do that. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot to the fight. Just make sure you don't use magic or holy damage or light damage against the boss, otherwise you'll get counterattacked with an AoE magic attack that also has stop. And just, you know, make sure you keep up all your buffs and everything throughout the fight. Keep re-raise on your provoke draw attacks tank, so that particularly draw attacks, so that whenever a kill happens and he gets resurrected, you can have him take the second kill, which actually I should mention that too. One of the other things about death and kill is by the time you get to the third phase, the boss is going to start casting it multiple times per turn. Now it's not every single turn, but on the turns that he does use kill, it will cast it at least twice, and I've actually had him cast it 3 times before in certain attempts. So you definitely want to have a 100% draw attacks tank. And that's really about it. Magic cover with your magic tank to take the non-elemental damage, keep up Calamity Border to keep your party safe from the uncoverable AoE damage, keep re-raise up on the party, or on your tanks, and when you get into phase 3, if you can, keep trying to roll re-raise on every character in the party just in case things go wrong. The boss does have a pretty nasty non-elemental physical attack that hits AoE, and actually the large majority of my deaths in this fight have come to that attack, so it may even be worth bringing in, you know, the pod from the Nier collaboration for the 40% damage reduction there on physical damage. So, but like always, if you have any other questions, please just let me know in the comment section below. I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of this kill play out. And yeah, if you haven't already, come over to my Twitch channel, follow me on Twitch, where you can see me do these things live and get all my, you know, live reactions and see me on camera and everything like that. So, thanks for watching.